Okay guys, today on the Copper Catcher we're going to do some modifications to the tire machine, which I already started. I forgot to, well, I didn't forget. I got going on it and just thought about it. I should be recording this stuff for you guys. So let me get you on my head and we'll get going from there. Okay guys, this is what I did and this is my design and how I'm going to go about modifying this machine to make it even better. Now I have other plans on doing some other stuff with this thing too, and I don't know if I'm going to need it or not as of right now. So here's what my idea. I've kind of kept it quiet. I've been thinking about it for a long time, and this is how I came about it. What I did was this side of the machine was not being used for anything. Okay, so with that being said, I was like, this tire machine that busts the beads off on tires is extremely strong. Because I don't know if you guys ever tried to bust tires off of rims before, but I mean, I've driven pickup trucks up on them trying to bust a bead and it won't bust them. And these things will bust the beads on about anything. So what I did is I came down and I started messing around with this thing, and I figured out that when I hook the air up to this thing, that this arm, this air cylinder is always out, and when you step on the pedal it pulls in to bust the bead off the rim against this framework right here. So what I thought to myself was, if it'll do that, I should be able to flip the hoses around and make this thing push out. So on mine, the center pedal is that part of the machine. So I went down here and started messing around with the hoses down in here, and I don't know if you guys can see them down in there, but the center hose on these is the feed line. The back hose is to one of the sides of the cylinder and the front hose is to the other side of the cylinder. So what I did is I just unplugged them. It's the same valve back there as it is right here. So all I did was flip-flop these hoses, which was super easy. And now my machine pushes. It's pushing instead of pulling. And when I let off of it, it goes back. So after I did that, I got that dialed in. I just did that just a few minutes ago. So now I'm going to take this arm and I'm drilling it right now as we speak. I was drilling a hole in it, which is what I'm going to go back to doing. I'm going to drill a hole down the center of this shaft because these threads aren't long enough and I need that nut on there to push against this hole. So I could put a thinner nut on there and get a little bit more thread, but it doesn't matter. It's because what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole down the center of this shaft and I'm going to tap it for 1/4 20. And once I tap it for 1/4 20, I'll put a washer back here with a 1/4 inch bolt going through, bolting it to this shaft so it pushes this arm in and out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut this off, all this off of the machine. And then I'm going to weld angle iron on there to where it's shaped like that, where the angle iron comes out and over at an angle, down like this. On the side of this machine, I'm going to weld it right to it. And I need some really deep angle iron. I don't know if I got deep enough angle iron for what I want to do, but that's going to be the angle iron coming down here. Now, once I get that kind of dialed in, I'm going to take this pedal off, this paddle, and I'm going to go through this bolt hole where this is bolted with a pair of pliers like what I got over there on my big puller machine. And then I'll be able to cut the top of the motors off here and literally drop that motor right down into that angle iron, grab it with the pullers, and this machine will push or pull the copper out of the end of the motor just like I do over there on that machine. But I'll never have to leave this machine. So it'll cut the top off I'll pull it, drop it down into the V of the angle iron. This thing will have pliers on it. I'll be able to grab that copper and rip it right out with this cylinder. So that's the plan. So that's where I'm going at with this. And I got to tap this hole here, drill and tap this hole to a 1/4 20. So I'm just drilling right down the center of this shaft, and all it's going to have is to where it, you know, it pulls the arm back closed when you let off the pedal. Which I don't have to do that, but I think it'll just be more user friendly if it was hooked to the arm. And that's plenty enough. I'm in there an inch deep, 1.5 inches deep. And that was just a pilot hole. And by the way, if you guys ever get a chance to buy real cobalt, pure solid cobalt drill bits, they're the best. They'll drill through anything. These ones that are cobalt coated, they're not worth a crap, but a real cobalt drill bit will look like that. It'll be that color. There's a difference in color in those, and this is a real cobalt drill bit. The next best thing over this is actually carbide, and carbide's super expensive, so. But they're also really brittle. That's why cobalt's way better in my eyes. Okay. Now all we gotta do is tap it and not break the tap off in it. And I don't have a handle for this tap, so I'm gonna run it in and out with this drill. Gently without breaking it off. Or try my damnedest to not break it off anyways. Come on. I don't know how good of threads that is, but they're in there pretty deep. I need some lubrication. I got a hot. There we go. Okay. Got a hole drilled and tapped in there. Now I need to find a 1/4 20 bolt with a big washer. I don't know how deep it is. I may have, yeah, it's hot. I should have let it cool down. And I got the tap hot, I'm sure, and it swelled up in there, is what it was doing, pinching it. Let me find a 1/4 20 nut and bolt, and we'll see if that works, and then I'll start cutting all this off and getting it ready to weld the angle iron on there. All right, guys, I think this is a 1/4 20 right here. I actually just started digging around a little bit of that hardware that I was holding on to. Yep. I may have to shorten this down It really doesn't matter, honestly. We gotta reach up in here, get that threaded into the end of that rod. This bolt actually might be the perfect length, honestly. It's a going. Get me a socket. There we go. Get me a socket. We'll run it down tight. Let me grab a socket, guys. Okay, guys, there we go. That'll work. That's plenty tight enough. You don't have to be perfect. There we go. Now we've got a puller. Look at that. What do you guys think? Now I ain't got to move from here. I can bring a motor in. Clamp it. That's crooked as hell. There we go. Clamp a motor like that. Air chisel, cut the top off, unclamp it, drop it right down into the thing, clamp it, pull it out. We're done. Never leave the machine. Let me get the plasma cutter fired up. I gotta run some, it may be hooked up already, I can't remember. Let's see. Yes, it is. All I gotta do is hook the air line up. So we'll get that blasted off there. We'll cut this all off. I'm just gonna cut it back here somewhere, right in here, just because I don't know exactly where I need to be, but I need to get all that off there because I need the motor to be as close to this as possible for the full length of the motor. Now what's going to change is what angle iron I have, and I may have to modify the angle iron, or I may have to go pay my buddy a visit and get some bigger angle iron, which may work just fine too. So give me a few minutes and I'll get back with you guys. Okay guys, I got some metal. I got it cut, but I don't know exactly what I need yet, so I'm gonna just start cutting and fitting and prepping and seeing what we got here. I gotta cut all this stuff off here anyways, so I'm gonna cut it off, get it out of the way, see what kind of shape we need there, and go from there. Hook that up like such. I'm gonna unplug this because I don't want it shorting out any of my stuff when I'm welding and cutting here. Yeah, we're gonna cut all this away and weld this straight to it, this stuff here. See how it works out. We're just gonna go with it for now. I need an air hose for the plasma cutter. I I've kind of jammed myself in there with all my stuff laying around here. I can't really get to anything. Good enough. Turn that on. Let's just start cutting, hey? It's the only way to get something done is just start cutting, right? Oh, I got a new toy, which I don't know if you guys have seen or not yet. I got this surface grinder given to me. So, we'll see what we can make out of it one of these days. It's getting ready to rain for the next couple days. Oh, I got one of these too. And I don't know what I'm gonna use it for, but it's really neat, cool. And I put new batteries in it, works great. So, yeah, let's get to cutting. Okay guys, here we go. There we go. Alright guys, we're going to clean up this little bit of slag and stuff on the side of this box so I don't have to do a bunch of grinding. And then be ready to put our angles on there. Guys, we're going to try a different way. And there we go. Done. Now, I'm gonna have to shape these a little bit. Get the welder out. Weld them on there. We'll be ready to pull motors, guys. Give me a minute, let me get the welder out here. Okay guys, I got all my welding stuff over here, got it set up. I've pretty much determined that this center crossing right here where these used to be is about the center of this hole. Now as it swings out, it's going to pull further that way, so that's why I'm kind of favoring that side of the machine. I did fix that hose already, and I got the welder out here, so I'm ready to tack this stuff together on here. I may have to grind a couple small tack welds off there. I may miss them too, I don't know. But we're gonna get this first one on here and set up and see how it goes. I kind of had it set up on here already. I got that hammer down there to keep it off the ground, so if I ever move this machine, this ain't gonna be on the floor, is why I got that on there. And this right here is gonna be the center, so somewhere right in here is where I need to be, and I do have a tack weld right down there that's holding me up. So let me get the grinder. I'm gonna have to grind this tack weld off here, probably this one too. Grind them down. Good enough. I cut the angle on the bottom of these expecting to put them together, but I don't think I'm even going to do that, honestly. I'm going to do something like that right there. If I had the welder turned on and the gas on, I'd tack that. So let me get that done. Basically it. That's about right, guys. Okay guys, this is basically what I got here. Is I'll come up here, hang on, yeah, I'll come up here, I'll cut the top of my motor off like in the videos that you guys have already seen. Once I cut the motor off, the top, well, I'll just show you guys one when I get ready to do it. Once I cut the top off, then I'm gonna bring it over here and I'm gonna drop it in here like that. And then which is now showing me right now, I probably need to make that V wider. It might work right there, I don't know. And then I probably do need to make that V a little bit wider. I hate to cut my tacks though. And then I'm gonna have a pair of like gripper things just like I have over there, over here, but I mean it'll be like a style pliers or whatever. It'll be a style pliers I'll have hooked to here. I don't know yet, with a chain or some kind of mechanism. And yeah, I'll just be able to come over here. I'll be standing right here like this and just hit the pedal and it'll pull it out. Just like that. Let off the pedal, it comes back. So that's basically the idea of it right there. Which that's probably about the biggest motor I'll pull out of these. Now they'll be deeper, they'll be longer. That's why I made this so deep off the machine, to accept the deeper motors, the ones that have more layers, so I can get them in there. But I am going to open this up a little bit. I'm going to cut these two tacks on this side and this side, and I'm going to lean this outside one out a little bit. Leave this one where it's at. But yep, there's the idea. And I should be able to process everything on these smaller motors right here at the machine. All right, guys, you're going to have to wait till the next episode to see how it pulls. I got to get some supplies. Okay, guys, that's going to be the end of that one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and until next time, enjoy our wild America.